We're hearing calls for a brand new investigation into reports of political targeting by the IRS after documents on the singling out of conservative groups applying for tax-exempt status reveal that some groups may have been targeted even after their applications and status had long already been approved. California Republican Congressman Issa, chairman of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, joins us now live. Chairman, thank you for your time today.
Well, thank you, Shannon. And this is an extension of the existing investigation because not only did groups take years and perhaps never get approved, but it appears now that there was additional scrutiny ordered for these organizations even after a few of them were granted their 501c4 status.
Yeah, and let's talk about some of those. I know that you've identified the Leadership Institute. It's been around since 1970. The Claire Booth Luce Policy Institute, also another longtime institution in the D.C. game. These weren't newbies. These weren't brand new Tea Party applications. These are groups that have been around for quite a while. And it sounds like they're telling a story of during a key critical time in the political cycle in 2011 and 2012, being really put through the ringer, having to spend a lot of time and a lot of money to answer these questions, new questions from the IRS.
Well, exactly, Shannon. And one thing I think your listeners need to understand is 501c4 nonprofits, you don't get a tax deduction for giving to them. So this is not where you get a write-off. It's not considered a charity. They simply don't pay taxes on the revenue they're given to do their work, which can include nearly half of their activities being political. Many people don't understand this should not be that tough to get as a status. This is a status of basically advocacy and education organizations, which both of these groups were.
All right, as you continue on multiple fronts with the IRS and trying to get some answers, the ranking member on your committee, your colleague, Congressman Elijah Cummings, is firing back, going public with a letter, and he says that basically you're not telling the whole truth about what's gone on with these different groups. He closes his latest letter saying, "It's unfortunate that you persist in this pattern of selectively releasing quotes instead of conducting a responsible investigation focused on implementing real reforms. I urge you to focus on obtaining the full set of facts rather than making unsubstantiated allegations." Your response?
Well, Mr. Cummings is part of the administration in this case. He is systematically trying to help them. They give him releases, small amounts of releases that help his position. But before our committee, when asked, the Inspector General, when asked, was there unfair targeting of Tea Party groups, he said yes. Asked, was there similar treatment of progressive groups, he said no. And so that really flies in the face of the president and Elijah Cummings' claim that somehow I'm making this about Tea Party when it should be about progressive groups also. And more importantly, the IRS has given us less than 1%, actually only about 0.2% of the documents that they've identified, and most of them show up looking like a black cow eating a licorice at midnight. They're completely obliterated so that you're really not getting a page that you can read even one word on. That kind of stonewalling is what we're going to be talking to Commissioner Werfel about this week. It's one of the problems we have is the IRS, while trying to pretend it's a real scandal is standing behind this so-called 6103 and giving no information to us and almost no information to the Ways and Means Committee. This kind of problem is exactly what we're dealing with an administration that will admit individually these are scandals and then calls them phony scandals in the aggregate.
All right, that leads to my next question, because now you mentioned the acting IRS commissioner, Danny Werfel, who, was put there to clean things up and to get some answers for you. The president went public and said that he was also very outraged about what was going on at the IRS. He said it's wrong if they were targeting people politically and vowed to get some answers. So we have Mr. Werfel now acting in this position. You've sent him a letter, or you've sent a letter talking about what you have and haven't gotten from him. You say that there's been a systematic manner in which the IRS has attempted to delay, frustrate, impede, and obstruct the committee's investigation. There's a little legalese in there, but those sound like some pretty serious charges. What are you saying exactly?
Well, under 18 U.S.C. 1505, you can get up to 5 years for obstructing a congressional investigation. We've had documents we received that clearly were blacked out when underneath those documents there are words, many words we should be able to see. And we're objecting to it. We're objecting to this. More importantly, you characterized Danny Werfel. He's a political appointee. He was a political appointee in the Office of Management and Budget. He has been part of an administration that has stonewalled any kind of transparency since day one of a Republican majority in the House. They were very content to talk about transparency for the first 2 years when Democrats didn't ask any questions. They're not so willing to do it for the last 4. So, do I want Danny Werfel to go in and clean house? Absolutely. Do I believe he has been a longtime part of the don't answer the questions, delay, deny, and obstruct? Absolutely, and my letter said so.
All right, Chairman Issa, thank you very much. Keep us updated, sir.
Will do, Shannon.